video game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Level 2 podcast. I believe this is episode 12, if I can count correctly. I think the last one was 12 or 13. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah.
I think it's 12. We know by now I can't count. My name is Keegan. I am one half of Level 2 Gamers. Tom, across the table from me, is the other half.
Hello.
How you doing today, Tom?
Shit.
Yeah, we're both a little under the weather. We're going to try and fake this pretty much as best we can, and hopefully...
we both got kind of sick at the same time. I feel like I've been sick for at least the last two podcasts, but I got hit by some kind of a cold or something.
I woke up this morning with a sore throat. I have cough drops that are helping, but I feel like absolute garbage.
So both of us sound like ass right now.
So bear with us.
Enjoy.
I do want to start off with some cool little news I got this morning.
Sure.
I told you it's a little different than we normally do to start it off, but my old basketball coach, yes, I used to play basketball, and yes, I used to be somewhat decent at it. Got an award today, well, over last weekend, that he won the Person of the Year according to a local newspaper.
That's awesome, man.
So good old Mr. Bueller. Yes, his name is Mr. Bueller. Yeah, he's a middle school guidance counselor. He is a role model of mine. He's helped me through a lot of stuff in high school. I moved, as I believe you know this, but I moved sophomore year of high school to New York. It was a bit rough. He kind of said, "Hey, keep your head up, kid. I'm here for you." And it's weird because like everybody I know loves this guy. Like there's nobody I've met that doesn't. Even high schoolers, because our high school and middle school were connected, so even the high schoolers go back to the middle school section to talk to him versus their guidance counselor because they knew him that better. And obviously him being my coach was a different connection as well. But
he was a coach and a counselor?
He's a coach and a guidance counselor. He's coached over 20 years. He actually, so weird news, he retired a year after I graduated. I had the pleasure of playing under him, and it was the greatest thing ever. He retired the year after I graduated. Then they brought in a new coach. New coach had some issues, so he came back out of retirement and actually coached. That year he coached the boys varsity team and the JV football team.
Wow.
So he's a busy man, but the key to this is basically those of you who are young enough to still be in school, or those of you who are old enough to be out of school, you all know that one person that kind of touched your life and affected you greatly, and it's kind of cool to see him get recognized for it because he's not a quiet man. There's actually a picture online somewhere where it looks like he's choking me. He's not. He's just excited. He grabs, because he grabbed me. I hit the microphone. But he grabs me, and just the way the image was taken, it looks like he's grabbing me by the throat. It's like, no, he's not. He wouldn't hurt a fly, except for when the reps make him mad. So, but yeah, cool. Good old Mr. Bueller. I love you. I know you probably don't watch this. I might send this to him. Be like, hey, remember that time? I still email him back.
Everyone used to play basketball and not sit around talking shit with a fat guy.
Yeah. I mean, I still did that because my friend was fat back in high school, so we still talk shit. But yeah, I just want to get that out there. Very few people have touched my lives. He's one of the ones that kind of has made me who I am today. Kind of said, just take life by the balls and run with it. And
what is the, if you don't mind me asking, what are the kind of prerequisites to be given an award of that magnitude?
I do not know. To be completely honest, I'm gonna guess. Part of it is obviously the service back to the school and the community. He's also touched a lot of people. Like he's been there over 20 years, and he's touched a lot of people. I know a lot of people that graduate. I graduated in 2009. A lot of people that still live in the area go back to go see him. Like it's not uncommon for these.
So
people,
just an all-around solid guy.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys that like he truly cared about the kids, and versus like those, especially with education, there's people who just do it because it's their job. It's the way it is. But he was one of those people. Obviously, being a guidance counselor is a little different, but he was one of those people you could go to with anything, and he'd be real with you. Like you go with him girl issues because high school, that's the thing. You go with him with bullying issues. I mean, I don't want to name names, but there's a kid in high school that basically got the snot beat out of him and was like, I need help. He's one of my teammates, and he brought him around. There's one of the stories that I saw on Facebook from somebody. I went to school with his older brother, or with this guy. He graduated in 2012, so 3 years after I did, so I didn't know him. But apparently his younger brother died at the age when he was in 8th grade.
Yikes.
And he's either in 8th grade or when he was 8. I can't remember which one. But basically, Mr. Bueller was the one who kind of was there for him.
Right.
And like, he's that good of a dude. He retired to spend more time with his family. I remember Hunter, which is his little boy. He has 2 kids from his current marriage and one from a other marriage. But Hunter would always hang out with us. We'd play ball with him. Like it was so much fun. Just hanging out with his kid, and he enjoyed it. And especially Sunday morning practices were the worst because nobody wants to be up at the butt crack of dawn. But Hunter would make it fun because we just block the shit out of him, and he would just like cross us up. And he's one of those guys that just has fun. You can tell he enjoys what he's doing. And so shout out to Mr. Bueller.
Cool.
Do you have any role models?
Role models? I don't know.
Me.
Definitely not you.
Damn it.
No, I don't really recall there being like a particular teacher or anything like that
Looks like I have two.
that turned my life around or anything like that. I think my parents are more responsible than anything for being there when I was at my lowest, and my friends as well. I was a only child, so I didn't have siblings.
Yeah,
like
I'm the
yourself.
middle child.
And any only child listening will know that it's a weird place to be, and that's half the reason why I've been playing video games as long as I have, is because I had no friends. But you do learn to be more amicable towards strangers, and kind of you gain friends fast as an only child because you have to, because your cousins are now the closest thing you have to brothers, and that kind of thing. So I would say that my friends played obviously a large part in my my growing up, but my parents really, because my mom like instilled my sense of righteousness. And I talked about this at her funeral. She passed away in September 2011, but she was one of the people that was the first people to sort of, as I was a kid, tell me that it doesn't matter, what sexual orientation you are, what color skin you have, or anything like that, that everyone was the same and everyone was equal. And it was such an important lesson to learn early in life, especially with, you see the world the way that it is right now. And I'll never ever, not appreciate that, because I see how fucking miserable people are when they have all that hate in them. And it was definitely kind of, she instilled the most in me, my personality, and the way that I outwardly look upon other people. So she would be, I guess,
you're a mama's boy.
Oh, absolutely, I was. Yeah, absolutely. She was very small too. She was only 4'10".
Mr. Bueller is a tiny little man, but when he yells at you, it's terrifying.
Again, small people in Napoleon Complex.
Yeah.
We're mean when we need to be.
So I'm gonna tell this story. I don't think I've ever told it publicly, but I played obviously basketball, and the night before I went 0 for 8. Like, I had a horrible night shooting. It was just a bad game. The next morning in Spanish class, one of my teammates who I did not like this kid was a prick. He thought he was the shit and he wasn't. Said something to me. It's 8 a.m. I'm not a morning person, as you know. I'm already grumpy. Leave me alone in the morning. Let me do my thing. He said something, and we had the desks that were connected, like the chair was connected to the desk with the metal arm. So me in my morning rage decided to grab the desk, flip it over, and throw him down.
Wow.
Mr. Bueller did not like that. The best comment though I obviously couldn't play games. I got suspended from basketball. I didn't get suspended from school. I got suspended for basketball, but I won't forget, because I went to Mr. Bueller to talk to him about it because he had to know, and he goes, "You know what? That dude's a prick. He deserved it, but you can't do that." And that made that to me was because again he's like, that guy's he didn't deserve it, but he deserved it. Yeah. So those are the moments like that I remember of him just like, look, I'm gonna be real with you. You can't do that, but
yeah.
That's
is what
cool,
I thought
man.
of it. So. I like that. Yeah.
So yeah, he won Person of the Year, 2016.
Awesome. Congrats, Mr. Bueller.
Bueller. We did that all the time. The best was when he wasn't paying attention and you start yelling it, and then it would go.
Yeah, you gotta think that as a teacher, that's gonna be one of the most annoying last names to have. But then again, there's a whole generation of people that will never know.
He won championships.
Yeah.
So I have a championship basketball ring because of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still have it?
Yeah. I'll bring it at some point.
I'd like to see it.
It doesn't fit because my fingers got fat.
Nah.
But I have it.
I've never even seen a championship ring
before. Okay, remind me. Well, I can't. Yeah, I'll bring it next time I see you, so you can see it. It's a really nice one.
We'll show the camera. We'll take pictures.
It's real expensive.
Yeah.
I remember we didn't. So I grew, as you know, I grew up in a very affluent area, and we had to pay.
Using big English words.
We had to. That's a nice way of saying rich area.
Yeah, I'm aware.
It sounds nicer.
I just like the way you said it. Affluent.
Affluent. But no, we paid for the ring, but we didn't pay. The school paid for a lot of it because.
You won the fucking championship.
We had money. The alumni paid for it. Like, it was awesome. So this ring, I don't remember what the cost was, but I remember seeing it, and it reminds me of like a Super Bowl ring. Obviously not that expensive. That's like $30,000. This is probably $1,000 or $2.
Yeah.
For a ring, so it's kind of nice. But
again, kids and sports in this country.
yeah, you know what the best part of that was though?
What?
It wasn't a participation trophy. We actually had to fucking earn that one.
You and your participation
That was
trophies.
great. I have a lot of those. I have a lot of those in my parents' basement. The three
'Cause
trophies.
you spent a lot of time in Canada.
Yeah, 3 trophies. I'm going on a tangent, but 3 trophies I'm most proud of. One is that championship ring. We didn't win states. We won Suffolk County, and then we lost to the Long Island Championship. The second one is my dad was my coach on baseball, and we won the All-Star. It was the All-Star team. I can't remember what they actually called it, but it was our All-Star travel team, and we won the championship there. And the third one, and the one I'm probably most proud of, was soccer. I won. It was called the Torre Malvetti Memorial Award, and you obviously don't know who Torre Malvetti is, but he's a former soccer star at my high school that committed suicide years ago, and kind of wanted to honor him with this because he's a hard worker, dedicated. And I got it because my senior year, both of our goalies went down with injuries, and we had nobody. And my soccer coach, I played outside midfield, and let's just say my soccer skills leave things to be desired when it comes to foot skills. I'm an American when I play soccer.
I apologize.
Don't die.
I know. I'm trying so hard.
So I got the award because my coach looks at me and goes, "You play basketball, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You probably got good hands." And he's like, "You're our starting goalie. Go take penalty kicks and see how this goes." And we don't talk about the first game. First game I was real nervous. I gave up 5 goals. Then I got 3 shutouts in a row. And I don't forget, Mr. Pulianos was my soccer coach, and he was like, "Good job." Like, very rarely did that give him. He's the old grouchy man that's like, he expects a lot from you, and you expect a lot from your teammates. But when he said good job to you, even if it's just like a pat on the back, you're like, you did something right.
Cool.
So that's my sports history.
Yeah.
And Mr. Bueller.
Yeah, Bueller.
So, what have you been up to?
Not a whole lot, to be honest with you. I mean, we had a discussion this morning before we went live about sort of things we want to do with the show, which was fun.
Yeah. We tend to do that every week.
We don't do that a lot, but it's kind of. I mean, we have a whole question that we're going to get into here in one of these podcasts here soon.
Maybe next week.
You
don't know.
And so no, I've been working a lot. I've been suffering a lot as far as this sickness and many other sicknesses.
Are you disturbed? Are you getting down with the sickness?
I've been down with the sickness. You know, I saw, it's funny you mentioned that. There was a meme, I guess, the other day that showed the difference between Google and Bing, and it was if you type in in Bing, it gives you all kinds of random shit, but if you do it in Google, it immediately gives you the video for Down with the Sickness, which I know is really quite funny.
Yeah. I remember singing that, and I think it's Rock Band had that as a DLC song, and I could never do the
full version of that song is actually kind of weird. It's he goes on this kind of like mommy rant at the end, which they knock off the radio, but
I love that.
Super creepy.
The other speaking of Disturbed, not to tangent here again, but the Inside the Fire, what was the name? Was that the name of the song? There was one they wrote about suicide in the video. I remember watching it.
Never a big Disturbed fan.
Oh, I remember watching it and going like, holy shit, they can show this on TV, and it was one of the most powerful videos I've ever seen. Granted, a lot of people give Disturbed shit because every song sounds very similar, but that's what a band is.
Yeah, I don't think it was that. It was just like the dude looked kind of douchey and stuff.
No, I mean, yeah,
with his weird goatee metal thing, and all that kind of
but
stuff.
That song, if you haven't seen it, go look up. I think it's called Inside the Fire. I could be wrong on that name.
I have a massive penchant for new metal, and it's
Korn.
Yeah. So when I was,
I interviewed them, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Super jealous.
Yeah. I hung out with good old Head.
When you hang out with Head.
Head
when I was 15. Which maybe
was
14.
The dark ages.
back before internet. And
that's actually probably not a lie.
Yeah. And I first heard Korn. I picked it up on a whim somewhere. Like I think what I used to do, if I remember correctly, and I remember I have done lots of drugs in my life, so I'm at a point where I may not always remember these things.
Do you know what song it was that got you hooked?
Yeah, I do. It's Blind. So I heard Blind, right, the first time, and I think what it was I used to troll eBay a little bit and buy random things, and in England, you couldn't necessarily get access to some of the I guess band-related things that you would over here. There was no Hot Topic, so if you wanted to buy something from Hot Topic, you'd have to go, and
to
ask an American friend if they could send you like a shirt from a band or whatever. Or go to a show. And so on eBay, I remember this guy had this is going to date the fuck out of me right now, but he had a VHS of music videos that he had put together. and just literally like ripped them off, MTV or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was a 3-hour long, this is why it was so awesome, 3-hour long VHS tape of just music videos.
He was smart.
Yeah, he was. And he sold that shit on eBay, and I paid for it, and it was awesome. And it was one of my favorite videos ever, because I just, you put it on and you have MTV for 3 hours. But the best part was you got to kind of pick the bands that you wanted. So you would say, okay, I definitely want some stuff from this band, this band, this band. And then he would also put stuff on there that he thought was similar to that. So it was kind of like, it was decent service,
Yeah, it was like Discovery.
Right. So it was kind of like Pandora, made by some random dude, but with music videos on VHS.
I just picture some dude in like a basement, just
totally.
kind of like us right now, just doing it.
I have no idea how much I paid for it, but so anyway, I had this video,
£4.
And it had Blind on there. First time I'd ever seen it, and when I watched that video and heard that song, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" It blew my head off.
It blew your mind.
Yes, I went blind, and it was kind of, I don't know, because I'd grown up on like Guns N' Roses and things like that, and I'd never heard anything that sounded quite like Korn when they first came out, and I don't think anyone had, and that was kind of the whole thing.
Freak on the Leash was the first. I remember watching that video because I hung out with the older.
Was the downfall, my friend.
I hung out with the older kids because I thought it was cool. And Freak on the Leash came on. It was Much Music because I was in Canada at the time, but our version of MTV. And I remember watching that video with when the bullet stops and he just starts beatboxing in the middle, and you're like, "What is this?" Because at that point it was Backstreet Boys for me.
And the first two albums were, pretty intense. And so anyway,
they're really weird dudes.
Yeah,
like I said, as you know, I know them personally, and like they're great. They're great people. They will tell you stories off the record that they can't tell on the record of things that they've done that they probably wish they hadn't done.
I believe it.
There's a lot of drugs back in the day.
Yeah, for sure.
It's funny because I interviewed them probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I asked Ted, I was like, because it's when he had just come back to the band. I was like, so what are the tours like now? He's like, honestly, when the show's over, we sit in our bus and watch Hulu or Netflix.
Yeah.
He's like, drugs are gone. He's like, we're all adults. Party's over. He's like, we might drink every so often, like if it's the end of the tour, but he goes, we're done.
That's fair, and that's a good way to treat it.
Yeah.
And I think most of them turned out okay.
Yeah.
But I would listen to Korn, I would listen to Limp Bizkit, and I would listen to,
You did it all for the nookie, so you could take that
way
cookie,
before nookie.
sugar it up the
That's on the first album. We're talking Counterfeit, Pollution.
Oh, see, I don't know. I know Chocolate Starfish.
No. So this is the good stuff. This is the stuff before they went kind of
mainstream.
And I sound like a twat when I say that, but at the same time,
anyone
that was a fan of nu metal when it first came out will say there was a certain point where everyone sold out.
Yeah. Which is what I like, because when they sold out, because that's right when I was growing up.
And that's when, the majority of the rest of the world learned about them. And it was when bands like Linkin Park and Slipknot and stuff came out. Like, who are these 9 guys in boiler suits? And then everyone would lose their fucking mind. But before that, there was a beautiful period of a couple years where that was just this music that was transcendent for a teenager full of angst to listen to. And it changed a lot about, me growing up and kind of... I guess just music in general. Like, it changed a lot about my thoughts about music in general and kind of like what it could be and how it could affect me. Definitely, that was when my path deviated a little bit and I started becoming a little bit more of a rebel. But I have a really big soft spot for nu metal because of that. Because it's kind of I don't know, like I could sit there and listen to Limp Bizkit unironically, and everyone would give me shit for the entire time that I'm listening to it. But I have these fond memories. So.
Behind Blue Eyes.
Again, earlier than that, man. You're too.
Oh,
late.
I know. I'm too young.
Yeah.
Did I tell you? I've had to tell this story of when I kind of went from like mainstream music to not mainstream music.
No, I'd like to hear it though.
It involved a girl because I thought the girl liked this music. She did not. Turns out. But it was. I had to be middle school because I was in California at the time. So it was either 7th or 8th grade. I liked this girl. Her name was Maggie. Her birthday is actually 1 month right before mine because I was like, ooh, it's meant to be.
You're a weird dude.
I am. But anyways, I thought she was in bands like Hello Goodbye. Like I was into some of that because it's more poppy. And then for some reason I thought she was in Hawthorne Heights. I don't know why, but I thought she was. So I bought for my birthday, Kirsten, one of my friends from middle school, high school, 7th through 9th grade because I moved after that. bought me the Hawthorne Heights CD, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna impress Maggie with this. Didn't impress her.
No.
I do remember though, so from that birthday, the best part of that birthday, one, I had a pool in my house, so high schooler, bikinis, you're in heaven. Two,
or hell, depending on where you stood in the swimming pool, because that could be really embarrassing really fast.
yeah,
I could imagine.
yeah, or the hot tub. I mean, let's be honest, let's play turn the bubbles on in the hot tub. Two, so the way Nicole and Kirsten wrapped the gifts was, one of them was a bunch of magazine pictures of like really hot dudes like Usher and Eminem and all these people, like abs galore.
Okay.
The second one was a bunch of hot girls, women, so like Megan Fox. I'm trying to think who else was back in those days, but there's just
Megan Fox back in there.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yep. But Megan Fox, and then this is a weird fantasy that came reality. But Kirsten, they put confetti in it, and then confetti went all over our floor, and of course we had to clean it up because we're good. So Kirsten's in bikini cleaning up, and I was like, "Yeah, buddy, I'm a creep."
I can't tell you how uncomfortable I am right now, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah.
Hopefully Kirsten's not watching this.
Yeah.
I'll share this on my Facebook
you
page.
learned something today.
Well, no,
maybe
so
didn't want to.
Kirsten loves me because we used to, on the way home because we lived in the same general direction from high school. My freshman year, we'd walk home together, and that's right when Bowling for Soup 1985 had just come out, and we would dance our asses off back home. And I remember we get to the corner, I can't remember the name of the streets, but there's a corner where she went left, I went right, and we would just dance on that corner for probably 2 minutes till the song ended.
This is adorable.
I know.
It's an adorable story.
We were a special bunch.
So
yeah.
Let's and I think there's like, I don't know, did you do mixtapes growing up? Did you make people mixtapes?
I made CD. I mean, we made mixed tapes early on, like me and my sister, like off the radio, but mixed CDs was what
But I mean, did you make a mixtape for a girl?
Yes.
And be like,
so,
this is,
story
you would
time.
like some of this.
Yeah, story time. You ready? I'm going to get real personal here. So in high school, the girl I dated, her name was Allie. So weird fact here. So my mom.
Probably stop saying like real people names on the.
They don't know last names. I mean, Allison is her name. Hi, Allison. She
or
doesn't
just
watch.
say a bigger version of the name you already
Yeah.
said. Okay.
But her mom and my mom were best friends. And then our little brothers were the same age, so we always just hung out. It was like out of convenience that we just always hung out together. And she got me one of the coolest things I've ever gotten. She gave me a New York City skyline that was made out of broken CDs.
Okay.
Like she broke the CDs and the shiny part was up, and she made New York City skyline. She's really artistic.
That's cool.
Like really artistic. Some of the shit she would do, I was like, how the hell did you do that? But anyways, I think it was for her 2-year anniversary or something. I can't remember. Probably should, but I don't. I got her a photo album that you could put a mixed CD in the front. Because, I'm super cheesy. I don't remember what was on that CD.
What year was this?
This was high school, so it was 2007 through 2000.
Wow, they had those in 2007?
Yeah. Yeah.
I could picture that being a perfect, 90s gift.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was a few years behind.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny because I used to make her CDs all the time. And it was more like if sometimes you have to be like, you gotta check out this cheesy love song. But a lot of times it was like we were into similar music. And we just share songs back and forth. Like she introduced me to Real Big Fish. I introduced her to Silverstein. That's just the way it was. And it was more of those, but there was moments where you're like, I'm going to send you Aladdin, a whole new world.
Yeah, it was. I hope to God that some of the people listening to this are cringing as hard as we are right now. But I remember, for me, of course, being older, it was a cassette tape. You would actually physically have to put the cassette tape in, press record, play the song, stop it at the right time, and it was, you were basically making a Spotify playlist, but and you would be
old school.
You told me that one time that you liked the chorus to that one song that was a little bit heavier than I thought that you would maybe be into musically, so I decided to make you an entire mixtape of all the new metal ever, that sort of thing.
Yep. There is. So I won't use her name because her name's a little bit more not as bland, I guess. Not as
sorry, Allison.
Yeah. Well, no, her name's very popular. The other girl's not. There's a song called Constantine by Jack's Mannequin.
Okay.
Actually, it's by Something Corporate, but Something Corporate became Jack's Mannequin. And my girlfriend at the time showed it to me. And it's this 9-minute, beautiful song. You should, if you're a fan of music, you should listen to it. But it's also a beautiful love song, of love and loss. And, he's played it live, I think, 4 or 5 times because of how emotional it is. And I remember her showing me that song. She's like, you really need to listen to this because I'm into this band. Of course, when your girlfriend says I'm into this band, you're like, I gotta at least listen to them and see if they're worth hanging out with, and showed me that song. I still have that song on my top rated today because that song is so good. So Constantine by Something Corporate. They also have Punk Rock Princess and I Woke Up in a Car, which is about having sex in a car with some person you didn't know.
Interesting.
So
yeah,
but yeah, that's our music. I feel like we just went on a tangent there.
That was a 25-minute tangent on our musical past.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Yeah.
What about you guys? I would love to know what they look like. I want
to know how many of you listening made a goddamn mixtape for a girl.
Mixtape, and how many of you made a mix CD?
Yeah.
What's the age gap here?
A mix something. Did you? I mean, even nowadays, like, did you make a Spotify playlist and send it, and it's called like For Katie or something like that? Is there something like that I
actually got a mix CD my couple relationships ago. Girl lived up north a little bit, not in Canada, not that far north. But she made me. I'm not gonna. Well, I can say her name because it's pretty generic. But it was called Aaron's Love, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Really? Because it's weird. I've never gotten one before, so it was a bit weird and awkward. But now, like on my phone, like I imported into my computer, so now like some of the songs I listen to have Aaron's Love as the name of the album, and I don't know. I should probably look up the real album name.
You should listen to the lyrics. There's going to be some sincere meanings in there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I
can't remember what songs.
That's half of the game was to play the subliminal message game as well. You'd have some that were just kind of rocking, and some that like the lyrics were kind of like, oh yeah.
That's what B-sides for.
Yeah.
Those of you who know what a B-side is.
You know, my friend, I have an author friend. His name is James Josiah, is his pen name. If you're welcome to look it up.
I think I know who he comments on stuff.
Yes,
I know who he is.
That's not his actual name, actually. That's his grandfather's name that he took as a pen name. He has a completely different name that I won't say on air because he changed his name for a reason.
You should say all names.
Well, you know, I've also got to blow my nose because you have to wait for 2 seconds here. Okay. I apologize to
everyone. And then I also have I have Aaron's Mix, Aaron's Emo Mix, and Aaron's Love as albums I have gotten.
Excited. I want to hear Aaron's Love. Okay, so back to the...
Hinder, Better Than Me is on there.
Better Than Me. Interesting.
What else we got in here?
You'll have to look up some of the lyrics for that later.
Be My Escape.
We'll come back to Be My Escape. Oh, come on.
Bliss, I Don't Want to Know.
Oh, man.
I want to see all. Can I see all? Little Big Town. Snow Patrol, Counting or Chasing Cars? Is that the song? Hey There Delilah.
God, Hey There Delilah was on every mixtape from that era.
Hazel Eyes. Oh God, there's Nickelback on here. If Everyone Cared and Rockstar. No. Backstreet Boys, Incomplete, Larger Than Life.
Wow.
Goo Goo Dolls, Let Love In.
Yeah.
That one was good. Missy Elliott, what's this one? Lose Control by Missy Elliott is in there. Phil Collins, Paradise.
Okay,
there's a lot. I have a lot more on here than I thought I did.
So Aaron's Love is a mixtape that we should put this together in Spotify and make it available.
Thanks for the memories.
Yeah, we're making this. This is a real thing. We're going to make Aaron's Love the mixtape. Absolutely. All right, so anyway, my buddy James Josiah wrote a book about mixtapes. So you're going to like this. This is a cool idea.
I'm listening. I'm still blown away. But what
we have video evidence again. Keegan wasn't listening, but so my friend James, he made this book, and it was about that. It was about mixtapes for girls or just in general, because he would make mixtapes a lot. He would make these mixtapes.
I'd make mixtapes for like my mom's car because I hated the music she listened to.
Right, and there's other reasons to make mixtapes. We're just saying that one of the big ones is.
Did you before you finish? Did you ever make a mixtape and then change one song so you had to make the whole thing over?
Yes.
Yeah, I did that. And I would name it. I'd always name my CDs the name of the first song, and it's like. My mom was like, "Isn't this the exact same CD?" I was like, "No, this song's different. I found this song." But anyways,
no, I like that. It's a good impression of you as a child.
Yeah.
So anyway, the book that he wrote is called C90. That's the letter C and then the number 9 and then the number 0. C90. Do you know what that is?
I was gonna make a cock joke, but
it's not a cock, but it is how long a cassette tape is. 45 minutes either side. C90, cassette 90.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why he called it C90. And the idea was he wrote this book in 2 halves. The first half, if you read it in a like if you have a average reading span level, it lasts approximately 45 minutes. The second half, 45 minutes. He made a mixtape out of 2 separate mixtapes that he had made as a kid to listen to while you're reading the book. So the first half is about unrequited love, basically, with this girl, and he had made a mixtape for her. He has the real mixtape that he made, and he links to it, so you can go and listen to the Spotify playlist of his mixtape while reading the story of him lusting after this girl and talking about the mixtape that he made her. The second half is after misery and all kinds of things occurred, me and him, and yes, I'm in this book as a character. That is myself.
Are you named in this book?
He made it like half fiction, half reality. And
let's be honest, anything you make is based on people you know.
Right, exactly. But I'm named in there. There's a character called Tom. That's me if you read this book. So so basically the second half was about trying to get over this girl, and he had made a mixtape for me and him to listen to while we were driving to a gig in Wolverhampton, and it was kind of like the setup to going to this gig and talking about the first half of the book and things like that. So this mixtape is a mixtape that me and him had kind of compiled together for this journey, which was around about a 45-minute trip. So C90, it's on Kindle, it's on Amazon. I think it's cheap. James Josiah is the author, and he made a very interesting idea into a book, which also has a musical accompaniment.
Which you could do. I'm trying to think, like Audible. You could theoretically make it an Audible file, and then you just read along with you.
Yeah, absolutely. You could even do the audio version and have it playing kind of in the background, just gently. But I thought it was a great idea, and I'm not just saying that because I'm in it. I honestly thought it was a cool idea. And I read it.
Tom made that book.
He sent me a signed copy. I have it upstairs. I'll show you. I'll take a picture of it so the podcast people can see it.
We don't believe you.
But yeah. No, I'll show you. It's good.
Yeah.
He also does other things as well. But his first book was called Days of Madness, which is just a diary of a man going insane. He could become so separated with his normal self and work self that he sends his work self emails, and then his work self sends his other self emails.
I can see that. I mean,
it's really weird.
So
it's cool though.
One of the things I get into is if it's not in my calendar, I don't do it. I've gotten to that point. So like if I don't email myself or if I don't put a message or a reminder or whatever, it's not going to get done.
Yeah.
And that's partially because I forget shit.
I use the shit out of reminders and things like that. But
I love Siri. Like that's all I use Siri for is reminders and alarms. Like, hey Siri, remind me to take out the trash when I get home. Hey Siri, remind me to upload that damn video.
Scratch my nuts. Yeah.
She does. She's right on cue.
But I mean, so that's that book is called Days of Madness. But and this wasn't supposed to be a pimp out my friend's book cast, but I honestly think they're good, and it's on topic. So there you go.
So let's get into
the actual question.
Bonus level. That was me slowing it down.
That was good. I liked it. Screwed and chopped.
It's also very nasally.
You know what screwed and chopped is?
It sounds dirty.
No. Well, yeah. It does.
Well, it depends what you're into.
It's a Texas form of hip hop where they take regular popular songs and then they slow them down.
They screw them and they chop them up.
Yeah, exactly. And people like that. Apparently.
They stick their dick in them and they chop them up.
Yeah.
Cool.
Look it up if you don't believe me. Screwed and chopped. Texans know.
I would do Google and chopped music. Screwed and chopped music.
Screwed and chopped Texan hip hop. Do that.
There you go.
That'd be better.
But anyways, the bonus level question. It's not really a question. It's just a topic today. I was thinking the other day because I'm colorblind, as a lot of you know. That's theoretically a quote unquote disability. I don't look at it as one, but it is by definition a disability. And the big thing that comes up is I've had a few people want to play Battlefield 1 with me on Xbox or PlayStation or whatever it may be, and I tell them I can't because I can't see the game. So that brought up the
makes me sad.
Discussion of accessibility in video games, what's good that's in it, what needs to be in it, / how useful is it. And I want to start off by saying, if you want to look up a lot of things about accessibility in video games, look up the charity called Able Gamers. There will be a link. I always put them in the cards. So if you want to donate, because YouTube's cool like that now, you can donate directly.
But if you're listening on like iTunes or whatever, then
go to ablegamers.com.
Yeah.
But they're really cool. They make custom controllers for people that can't necessarily play with a normal controller, or they made one. They posted one the other day where this dude can control everything with his mouth just by blowing or sucking because he's a quadriplegic.
Wow.
I was like that, and eye tracking. That was impressive. They're like $5,000 to make those. Like that's the high end one, but they make various other things.
I mean, Gosh, that's got to be so hard. I mean, I can imagine certain games that being okay with, but I can imagine some being really difficult.
So let's get into accessibility in video games, what most games have at this point. I'm going to go down a quick checklist. Most games right now have the ability to remap buttons.
Yep.
For some of us, that is, we don't even pay attention to it. For other people, it's very important. And each game goes a little bit more into that depth. So like a game like Overwatch, Blizzard's really good at it. Overwatch literally lets you go in and choose what the button does.
I was going to say
versus
that's
presets.
My preferred method is when they say like that's more PC. That's like when on PC games that'd be like what do you want to map to what. But normally it is just a bunch of presets. Which I hate.
Again, if you have some sort of disability and you can't play with that, then it sucks because then you can't play that game.
What's your number one most changed button?
I don't change them ever usually. I mean, inverted controls.
Inverted controls.
That's literally the only thing I've really changed in there because I learned to play the game as it's designed.
If it's an option, which it rarely is nowadays, I always turn
R1
aim
and
and shoot to L1 R1.
Yep. Because you're a PlayStation. I was an Xbox guy. I was used to the big trigger.
I fucking hate the triggers.
I love the triggers. The other thing,
it's more time to shoot.
I don't care.
It's a longer amount of space.
Just move quicker
to close. Stop being popular. You're not allowed.
Yeah, Falling in Reverse is playing a show apparently near us because it sent me a message. Falling in Reverse.
Falling in Reverse.
Yeah, do you remember them? Like those guys. Speaking of music, those guys are cock.
No,
as Tom would say.
Don't know they are.
So button mapping is a big one, or controller options. Not all of them let you button map. The other thing is some sort of gamma adjustment usually that's for a TV adjustment. So like I have a plasma, so the blacks on my camera are real black, the whites are real white. So my camera is usually pretty nice and balanced. Versus if you have an LED or an LCD, or you can adjust it that way. But that is also a vision thing.
Do you ever change it though? Really?
I do.
You know that thing when it comes up and it says,
I turn mine
slider until you can barely see the blah blah blah.
So
I never move
on Elder Scrolls, again, I have a plasma which is really known for again the contrast of the blacks to the whites. That sounds real racist, but we're talking about displays. On Elder Scrolls, I slide it pretty much all the way to the left because I can still see that thing because there's such good contrast in those. Stop it! I'm gonna mute this. Oh, it's raining apparently.
Professionalism.
Light rain starting in 4 minutes. Gonna be stopping 13 minutes from now.
There you go. This is gonna be completely useless information to you at the time you're listening.
It might be for us. You know, if it rains.
And since we're in the basement for at least another half an hour, it's not really gonna mean anything to us. Carry
on. But no, I adjust it for the gamma because my TV does it. So I'm a fan.
Do it just because it kind of tells you to? I think maybe it's
I go in the options.
Maybe it's an anti-authoritarian thing.
Yeah, I go into
like adjust slider for blackness, and I'm like, no, I like it the way it is. Fuck you.
I mean, games like Elder Scrolls bring it up as soon as you start the game. Other games don't. I will go in the options just see what's there. Most of the time, for me personally, it's colorblind mode.
Which I've never seen. I'll be honest. I know it exists because you tell me it does, and I believe you.
So Star Wars Battlefront has colorblind mode. So when I changed it, when I found it, first of all, let's say how excited I was because the normal Battlefront I think is blue and red. I believe. I don't know what the enemies are. Versus now when I fight them, it's red and green. And they contrast so much better. I'm pro-tan colorblind, which is red-green colorblind.
So what does that mean? You can't see them, or they look the same?
They look similar. So red, green, and brown all kind of blend together. So if you look at my colorblind spectrum,
that's depressing. I'm depressed for you.
I mean, it depends. But if you look
not that colors are that great. I mean, they're not.
I mean, I can tell. I can tell. We have a green screen, obviously. I can tell the green screen. I can tell it's green.
The thing about that though was it is called a green screen.
Yeah.
So what about this wall?
The wall's blue.
What kind of blue?
I don't know. It's fucking blue.
I don't know what type of blue it is either.
I don't know. So there's also females.
So you can't even tell that your hat is really like red and blue then?
No, I can. I can see colors. They just tend to blend. Like you're wearing a Deadpool hat.
Yes.
Your Deadpool logo is very similar color to your couch right now.
I gotta take my hat off. Apologies to folks on the video. This is old man. So which part?
The face is a similar color to that.
That's black though.
No, the red lines.
Oh, really?
Similar. Yeah, it's very similar.
I don't know if you can see this at home.
Probably not.
Probably not. But I mean, here's.
I can put up if I remember.
Is the same color as this couch you see behind us to Keegan. The red part. The red part right there.
Which I can put up a little slider thing that shows you that I found that explains it work. Like at work, I tell people they can't use green, blue. Kind of turns into white eventually.
Eventually?
Yeah. So it depends on how bright it is. So there's a spectrum that essentially goes we're going to learn a lot about colorblindness.
Yeah, I'm fascinated.
But there's a spectrum that essentially goes with the blues, they turn white. Greens and reds kind of merge into brown, which is why I can't see the middle. Like, again, I can see extremes.
So it's
on
only
both
if they're
ends.
together that they merge?
Yeah. So let's see.
You're not allowed. Nope.
I'm not pulling a video.
No. You can't pull up a video because
I'm
last
not.
time you pulled up a video, everything went to shit.
I know. This is the image I'm going to use, though, so you can see it. Because it'll make way more sense. And I'll pop this up so you guys can see it. But so this is what you see.
Okay.
This is what I see.
Oh, wow. So
I'm not quite that extreme. I can still see
it's
these.
almost
I
like
see
the
threads
whole
there.
blue and white, gold and white, blue and black, gold and white dress thing.
So now you see why like green is an issue. And again, I'll put this up so they can see it. If you're listening, basically red becomes brown, blue becomes white, and or green becomes yellow. Like there's no differentiating between
and dark blue is actually purple.
Is it?
You would see dark blue. I see purple. The end of this line is purple.
Oh, these are the same.
Yeah, no, that's two very distinctly different colors.
Yeah. So
wow.
That gives you an idea. There's different types of colorblindness. So
put this up so they can see it though.
I will.
I mean, we'll put it in a corner somewhere. Yeah. Right. This is to remind Keegan in post production.
Yes.
Ding. Okay.
And
audio people are just like, what the fuck's going on? They forget about us.
Well, there's multiple different colorblindness.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
So there's protan. There's I can't see the other ones. One starts with the D.
Right.
One starts with the T. But I'm protan, which is way easier to say than the actual word. It's like 50 million syllables going on. So what I like that Blizzard does specifically, and more games are doing it, is instead of just saying colorblind mode, because colorblind, there's red green colorblind, there's blue yellow colorblind, there's completely grayscale colorblind. Like there's different versions of it. Is they will tell you what it is. Like Blizzard says this is protan, and then you can adjust the intensity up and down. So I'm colorblind. I'm not super colorblind, if that makes sense. Like on the scale of colorblindness, I tend to fall somewhere in the middle.
Got ya.
And I want you to take a test at the end so you can see what I see.
I would love to.
So yeah, there's a colorblind test I'm gonna have you take after this podcast. It's on Enchroma if you guys want to take it. It's Enchroma glasses. They tell you which colorblindness you are.
What if I'm not colorblind?
Then you'll get everything right.
Cool. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I genuinely am.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, colorblind mode to me is a big deal just because it works.
Is that colorblindness is
very common.
I was gonna say
very common.
It's pretty common.
The one I have, is
go.
the most common. I think it's in. I want to say it's in like 10% of males is the one I've got.
Right.
Which is a high number for a disability. Again, I hate calling it disability.
An easy fix, I imagine. I mean, you're basically just saying, when you turn on colorblind mode, you're saying turn this color into this color, or make it different so that it doesn't
they do
clash
filters.
with this person.
So like the iPhone came out recently with the colored screens.
Right.
And when you turn those filters on, it changes the color of the screen on it.
The iPhone came out recently?
The iPhone came out recently with the colored filters. Okay. That's what I meant. The iPhone didn't come out recently.
It's 10
came
years
out 10 years ago. But it had the filters, and that's kind of like you can see how they adjust the screen to make it work.
Instagram's kind of shitty for you then, I suppose, because there's a lot of filters there.
Yeah, but they contrast pretty well. I mean, they're not usually colors. Yes, some of them are very similar, but they're not, from what I can tell. Again, I don't know how much I can tell, because you can't tell somebody when you're colorblind. You can't tell somebody what color something is because it's what I know. Like,
is it something that can be corrected with surgery?
I don't believe so. I believe it's a chromosomic
but you
thing.
can wear essentially like glasses.
Yes, with filters on it and all that kind of stuff. I really want to get there. Again, the Enchroma, the website we're going to go to, has both sunglasses and normal glasses that fix color. Not fix. $500 for prescriptions. $350 for non-prescription. So yes, they are very pricey, but I would love to see that moment of just like, what does the world look like? Because I know colors. Again, it's one of those things that's weird because you're told what colors are and you kind of learn it that way. Like, not to get all philosophical here, but like, how do you know Deadpool on your hat is red? It's because you were told that is the color red. Like, it's true for anybody.
We're getting into existential territory at this point. But I agree. It is interesting how we all agreed that certain names would define certain things, and we all assume that everyone can see the same thing.
Yes, and I learned colors based on what people tell me. Obviously, some colors look similar, so I'm like, no, that's the same. But colorblind mode is a big one for me.
I might possibly be, because there's lots of time. Here's the thing. Either me or my wife is, because she tells me shit's the wrong color all the time, and I'm pretty confident I'm not.
That's just because you guys bicker with each other.
It could be, but like she'll be like, what are you talking about? That's not blue. That's, and I'm just like, that's fucking blue, and like we'll argue about for ages, and then so I'm pretty confident either she's colorblind or I am.
You can take the test. Yes, and so you both could take the test.
And if we are, then guess what's going on Instagram later today?
Colorblind.
Me and my colorblind test.
Yeah. But yeah, colorblind mode is a big one for me. There's other ones in there that include like text to speech subtitles. I mean, we use it for when we're recording so people can hear it, or see it. But that also for somebody who's hearing impaired. Yeah. Again, it's the little things that we tend to overlook on these. And one of my friends, Amy, her YouTube name's Amy Napkins. I'm not going to say her real name, but she works.
I'm aware of her existence.
Yes, she works for Able Gamers.
That's high praise for me. I am aware of your existence. I'm sorry. It's such a dick thing to say.
I know who you are.
I'm aware of you.
But she works for Able Gamers. She's helped me out with some things, like going back and forth with kind of what they do and how they do what they do, and it's really interesting because obviously they have multiple things they can do. One, they can work with developers to make sure these things, because a prime example, like Battlefield 1 has colorblind mode in it. It does not help me for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just not the intensity or whatever it may be, but that game's also very gray in general.
I think it's probably a different form.
I don't know. I mean, that's the problem. Or the other thing is they didn't crank the intensity enough. I mean, that could be the other thing. Like, it doesn't contrast enough for me.
They tried, but it doesn't go far enough.
Yes. So Able Gamers will partner with developers, whether, again, it's vision, hearing. I guess games don't really do audio,
things
but
that you could patch into a game.
That's what I was going to say. It's harder to patch it in than build it from the ground up.
I was going to say.
So they try to build it with work with developers as they're making the game.
Yeah.
It is theoretically patchable, but it's a lot of work to do it.
And what about for indie developers then? So if you have a company like EA that's putting out your Battlefields or your whatnot, then obviously they have
the resources.
Yes. But when you have someone making a smaller experience, small developer, five developer team, how much more effort do they have to go through to accommodate those people?
A little bit. I mean, if you build it from the ground up, it's not much work.
Right.
If you build it after the fact, it's more work. So
I'm not saying. By the way, I'm no means saying that what about indie devs? Those poor bastards. How should they do it? I think everyone should do it. I'm just saying, like, is there a big difference?
I'm not a game coder by any stretch of the imagination, but from what I've heard from again, Able Gamers is kind of the primary resource I go to for them because you got some smart people there. If you do it from the get-go, it's not that hard. It's probably
like if you are a developer, you will probably be alright figuring it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you want to patch it in after the fact, once your base code is set, it's harder.
Do we have any developers that are watching or listening that can shed some light on it?
You want to know? So here's a really cool game.
That's a question to you right there.
Camera or audio to you listening.
Yeah.
Here's a cool game. So have you ever heard of the game Hue? It's on PS4.
I have heard of it, yeah.
So it's a game that uses color to solve puzzles.
Yeah.
Those of us who are colorblind, I can't play that game. Found out the other day it has a colorblind mode built in, so I'm probably going to buy that game now.
Cool.
Like, it was a game that I was like, I can't play this.
So you're buying it more so because they were kind enough to include a colorblind?
No, I wanted to play the game. I just didn't know if I could. So as soon as I heard the concept of the game, I was like, oh, this is really cool, but I can't play it.
So potentially it's losing out on sales.
Yes. So a game like that makes sense because it's primarily based around colors. Right. The other thing that they talk about is font. Font's a big one. So, like, again, for vision, you have, which to me is the big thing because I wear glasses, I'm colorblind. Font style, font size, like,
you are essentially
that kind of
a mole rat.
I am. I have very thick glasses.
The beard really does sell it.
Yes. Yeah. But for vision, which is what I can talk to, like, they talk about font size. The more and more games now are giving you the ability to change the font in subtitles or whatever it may be, which I like. Again, it's more of not necessarily telling developers they have to do it, but giving them options.
So I have a question
for the gamer.
Why do we put the onus on the developers when we could also put the onus on the creators of the console? Because if you think about it, you have your iPhones and whatnot, and we both know that Apple is a very, very accessibility-friendly company, and they have those settings built in to the point where it really doesn't matter what you're doing because the whole phone is responding to that mode. So is there not a colorblind mode they can build into the PlayStation?
I don't know how that would work in an OS space. I assume it would be possible. PlayStation,
Apple could do it.
That's what I'm saying. Well, there's a little bit... In my opinion, probably a little bit more that goes into PlayStation just because of...
essentially. But
it's very similar.
I mean, it's an operating system. It's code. So.
PlayStation and Microsoft have both gotten better with accessibility. This is the first console generation that if you go into the menu, there's an accessibility section.
Right.
Period. So they are working on it. I think it's just...
Could be more robust, though.
Yeah. I think it's just learning, making sure everything works before they do it.
Yeah.
And they took the big ones. I mean, they've taken to where you can actually like switch the buttons on the controller in the system, like stuff like that. The big ones they've hit, but it's the little niche things. Like for me, again, colorblind mode is the big one because that's.
And these are things that I assume on an OS level would be easier to patch in.
I'm gonna look up real quick. You keep talking. I'm gonna look up to see what accessibility, because I don't know off the top of my head what PlayStation has an accessibility.
I can't talk and drink at the same time.
Well,
as much as I would love to be a ventriloquist, I haven't mastered that art yet. But I will continue to natter while you.
If I can spell accessibility right, that is. So here we go. PlayStation 4 accessibility user guide. They have text to speech, which again, if you're,
it's a good one.
If you're, how would you play a video game blind?
I mean, I guess the same way you watch a movie. There must be certain ones that are, because they watch a movie by like, mostly just to the audio portion of it. So if it's certain games, I think you'd be able to, but it would have to be kind of.
Could you picture like Skyrim
voice
blind?
Control, right? Like not voice control, voice over.
Yeah, voice activated or voice.
I mean, let's be honest. You wouldn't be able to play like your Battlefields or whatnot. Like,
they have zoom. They have invert colors, which is kind of colorblind stuff, but it just makes it so it's easier to contrast.
For some folks to see,
yeah. Larger text, bold text, high contrast, closed captions, button assignments, auto scroll speed, press and hold delay.
Do they have quite a lot then?
Yeah, and add to quick menu, so you can add accessibility to quick menu now.
So I was too quick to judge.
Yeah, they've done quite a few, but they're obviously with an area like this. There's always more you can do to make. So the way I look at gaming, when it comes to accessibility of it, and when I say accessibility, I mean literally the ability to play a game, to have access to the game, which is what accessibility stands for. Fun fact, is if you're leaving a group out that would love gaming, that's not fair. I mean, it's one of those things you can't please everybody, because there might be that one person that has this one thing that, yes, you'd love to include them, but the cost versus money, it's a business, that kind of thing, which sucks to say, but it is the truth. But again, Gable Gamers is making controllers for quadriplegics. Like, that's a thing. That's incredible.
It is incredible.
Like, things like that, or like, I saw another one where they made one where it's just joysticks. The dude couldn't move his left hand, so he had to do everything with his right hand with the joystick and the buttons. Instead of being a controller, was on this like keypad thing. I don't know what to call it, but it's really cool looking. Yeah. And again, it's third-party modifications. You would love to see the actual console creators, developers doing themselves, but
yeah,
there's a lot of things that
I think it's definitely better than it's ever been.
Yes, I think there's a long way to go.
There's still some to be desired.
I mean, let's compare that to the Apple list, since I've got my iPhone here.
Sure.
Because we talked about Apple being one of and I agree. I think Apple's one of the leaders in accessibility, and I think we all can agree to it. So accessibility, Apple first of all has it divided up by category, which I love. So Vision, they have voiceover. PlayStation had text to speech. Zoom, PlayStation has Zoom. Magnifier, you don't really need a magnifier in PS4 because you already have Zoom. Display combinations. Invert colors is what PlayStation had. Under display combinations, Apple has invert colors, color filters, and reduce white point. Under color filters, they have grayscale, red-green filter, Pro-Tan. They have the D1 and the T1.
Is yours set Pro-Tan?
I don't do it because it's really weird when I'm watching something where I can know what the color is. It throws it off. I don't like it's a weird thing because it changes the color.
For those of you listening in audio, I'm smiling.
Yeah, it changes the color of it because. Like
it changes to the right color, though, correct?
No. It changes so I can see it better. It doesn't change to the right color. It does not correct the thing. It makes it so it's easier to see. So it contrasts better.
I'm so confused.
So here's a prime example. I have red, I have brown. They look very similar to me. When I turn on the filter, I don't make this red and I don't make this brown. I make this lighter and I make this darker so I can see it. So it may not necessarily be the right color, but it's enough that I know that this is brown, this is red.
So they're different.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, they're close to the right color, but they're not the right color.
So why wouldn't you want to know that?
Why wouldn't I want to know that?
Yeah.
Because colors I can see get messed up because of this display combination. So like a blue.
So you're saying that with the disability of being colorblind, certain things are more comfortably mashed together than separated in a sort of a half-assed way. Because there's no way for them to put a filter on that to make you see brown as green or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's what it is. You're learning a lot, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
But it's one of those things. Like I said, it's more of me just kind of. That's a personal choice. Like I turn it on every so often for like apps and stuff like that. But in general, I don't have that issue other than a little fun fact. The place we work at, a lot of the things we use are the same color. They're all blue where I work. It's great because I can see blue. If they were red or if they were green, it'd be harder to differentiate. I mean, obviously it tells you what it is. You see the symbol. That's why symbols are a big thing as well. I think, and we don't think about it, but I think everything should have a symbol next to it or have the option to do a symbol next to it because it tells you what it is. For two reasons. One, if you can't read.
Like a legion? You mean like a legion symbol?
Yeah.
Like legend? Sorry,
yeah.
Not legion.
Yeah, legend.
Sorry,
I was like,
legion. I was thinking about you.
But no, like two reasons. One, if you can't read. Two, if you have dyslexia. I mean, stuff like that. Like these, I'm getting
smart.
real in depth into them.
You can't really put Braille on a video game, can you?
Correct.
So it's kind of, yeah.
Yep. The other thing Apple has is speech. So speak and
you can choose how fast it does it as well, which I think is cute because it has a little tortoise and then the hair, which is adorable.
Again, symbols.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it makes sense.
Although I feel like that's more of a joke than anything.
I mean,
because you could quite easily just put slow, fast.
Yeah, but again,
when voiceover is on, does it say rabbit, hare, or does it say like fast, slow?
Probably fast and slow.
We'll find out one of these.
Larger text, bold text, button shapes, increased contrast, reduced motion, labels on off, and then they have interaction. So they have switch control. They have assistive touch.
Which is controlling it with your face, essentially.
Yes, which is the guy who's quadriplegic being able to control the PS4 with his face.
That blows my fucking mind, man.
There's a lot of computers working on that.
How do you do that? It's so incredible.
I didn't realize Shakedown Do was an accessibility thing, but Shakedown Do is. Vibration is one as well. Call audio routing, home button. Apparently you can change the home button.
A lot of hearing aid type.
Yes. Hearing is the next one. So hearing, you can do hearing devices. TTY, I can't remember what that stands for.
TTY is another form of hearing help.
It's one like when you call in.
Yeah, you call in and
I had somebody
you over and transfer it. Yeah.
Yep. LED lights for alerts, mono audio, phone noise cancellation. You can also adjust channels left and right. And then for media, they have subtitles and captioning, audio descriptions, and then learning that guided access and accessibility shortcut to turn them on and off.
Yeah, so we have things like that for people with like autism and things like that that maybe have trouble, focusing or pressing certain things.
Or even like I think as somebody that has like Parkinson's that has a shake, picture them trying to play a game where they're shaking. Like I don't know how you would fix that with the controller because it'd be tricky, but there would be a way to do it.
Yeah.
So that's just one. I mean, again, this is one of the topics I can do. And I was like, I really want to talk about it because personally it affects me. And every time I stream a game or I have colorblind mode on, somebody asks me, why is it the wrong color? And I was like, this is why. And it's a good learning. Like any disability, let's be honest, there's some people out there that as soon as they see somebody in a wheelchair, they're like, I don't know how to react because they've never been around it. We've been lucky enough to work in a place that kind of teaches you how to do that. And is like, this is like, prime example, if a kid comes up to you, do you talk down to a kid? Do you get down to the kid's level? Somebody's in a wheelchair. Do you kneel down with them? Do you stand over them and talk down? You ask, like it's their preference on how they do it. Different people are different. Or one of our coworkers, she knows sign language, and watching her sign is crazy. And I was like, how do you know to sign versus lip read versus write stuff down? She goes, I just ask them. She's like, I have a little bit more cred because she has hearing aids as well. She's hearing impaired. Yeah. So she has a little bit, she's like, I have a little bit more credit when it comes to that, but this is how I determine. Yeah. And stuff like that.
My decisions are usually based upon what is best to have the interaction succeed successfully.
Yes.
So if like when you brought up versus a kid versus someone in a wheelchair being lower down, if I can hear you better, then I can solve your your issue better. Then I will come closer to you to do that. But I would also do that with someone completely fully bodied if I couldn't understand them.
Yes.
We're going to have a problem.
You don't because you don't want to treat people differently, but you do want to have, again, give them the access to do what they want to do.
You don't want to be patronizing about it.
Yes. I mean, that's one of the things, like I said, when it comes to accessibility, we're getting better than, and I think you said it too, we're getting better than we ever were.
Yeah.
We still got a long way to go, but I'm super excited to see it at the system level, see developers get involved, charities like Able Gamers getting involved. Like, it's the coolest thing to me because it affects me.
Right.
And again, when I say it affects me, I don't want to sound like, oh my God, it's the end of the world if I can't play colorblind mode, because it's not. But some games it is. Like, again, Battlefield 1. I can't even play that in colorblind mode. Yeah. Like, it's just too great for me. I also suck at first person shooters, so that could be it as well.
Yeah. There is that.
But again, Hue is a prime example of a game I would not be able to play if they did not introduce that colorblind mode, period. And it's cool because it's a cool little concept, but you'd be leaving out a section of audience. And same thing if you leave out somebody who can't read or can't hear. Do you want subtitles? Well, that sucks. Like voiceover, for us, I think voiceover is really cool because it immerses you even more. But if you can't hear them...
And you know the other thing that I can bring up in this topic, because I'm not, honestly, I haven't said a lot because I frankly don't know a lot about it, but one thing that I think is important, and I can speak to this, is that video games in general are always seen as a form of escapism. They're seen as the same as watching a movie. It's kind of taking you away from your reality for a short period of time. And, you know, being an only child, for me, that was a big deal with, you know, being able to remove myself from whatever I was doing and sink myself into an experience. And I think it's fair to say that for a lot of people that are, you know, have disabilities or are disabled, that they already feel slightly alienated from society by being different in whatever size, shape, or form that may take. So some form of escapism that is, as we all know, is incredible. I mean, we all know the power of video games. But to deny someone the ability to that type of escapism when it's proven to be one of the best forms of escapism is a crime. And it's kind of, you know, for me and you, like, we're trying to escape from stress and busy days and shit like that. I mean, you have your colorblind thing, but that's not like a crippling, like, you know, it sucks, but it's not like, you know,
I don't want to be like it's the end of the, like I said, it's not the end of the world.
It's not a wheelchair. It's not, you know, but it sucks.
Nobody sees it. That's the other thing too. Exactly. It's not people. When people think of, when people hear disability, they think of somebody in a wheelchair. They think of somebody who maybe is learning a speech impediment, with things that are more obvious.
And even
if you looked at me,
even if you tell me you're colorblind, I'm probably not going to make many compromises in terms of how I talk to you or treat you.
Which you don't have to. If you show me something, then you do.
Right. So it's kind of like you just like So
here's I kind of on this topic. I might make a video on it because it did something I totally forgot I do without thinking about it. Is every time I video edit, there's things called scopes. So there's vector scopes. No scope no. Vector scopes, lumiscope, and a histogram, which, again, I can't see red, green. I don't want to say I can't see because I can, but they match together. And what I do is for color correction is obviously pretty hard when you can't tell what colors are. So these scopes tell me how much colors where and what I should be looking for. So you find the balance that way. So whenever I color correct something, obviously I look on visually like everybody else.
I've been meaning to tell you all of our videos are brown for some time now, but I feel too bad.
But those, like, again, that's another thing in an editor that again, I hate using able body, but that's what it is. Somebody who's not colorblind or somebody who can see all that doesn't necessarily need, but somebody who, like me, like, it's an added bonus, I guess is the best way to say it. For somebody like me, where that's almost intricate and integral, that's the word I'm looking for, to what I'm doing, because if I didn't have those, I guarantee we'd be a little bit more off on color than we are. And I remember the first time somebody showed that to me, it's, again, same reaction of having colorblind mode in a game where, like, you go long life without it, and you're like, if you don't know about it, fine. But as soon as you see that light at the end of the tunnel, and it's like, holy shit, where has this been? And again, it's really cool.
To shout out the company that made that possible for you. You edit in
Final Cut Pro,
which is signed by Apple.
But in defense, all editors have them now.
Yeah, which is
awesome.
But it's nice that you have those pro app people, regardless of the pro app, that are actually paying attention and doing that type of thing.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's cool. That's accessibility.
What do you have to add, guys? We know you're listening. We know you're watching. We know the podcasts are one of our more popular segments. We think that our conversations are usually fruitful.
Sometimes.
Fruits Ninjaful, and
this one was way more fruitful, I think, than most.
This was a good one, except for the fact, and I have to apologize for the amount of sniffling and coughing and everything that we've been
trying.
doing. Me mostly.
I got a lot of stuff up
the
here.
The second we stop recording, I'm gonna go
and hack off a lung.
Blow, yeah. And,
he's gonna go blow me.
Chunks. No, hello. So basically, we know that you guys like this stuff, so we want you to be more involved in it. We want you to tell us, first of all, did you ever make a mixtape for someone? And if you did, what was the song that you put on there that you thought was going to be the one that sparked the ignition of love? And second,
what is love?
You're laughing, but
baby, don't hurt me.
You know you've done it.
Don't hurt me.
And number two, our topic, our bonus level was talking about accessibility. Do you have an accessibility need? Is it something like Keegan's? Is it more complicated? And do you feel as though you're catered to by developers and or creators of hardware when it comes to gaming? I think that about summarizes episode 12, no?
And again, those of you who, if you want to go check out and you learn more about this, if you are curious, ablegamers.com. If you want to take the colorblind test, I'm going to have Tom take afterwards.
Yeah.
Again, I believe it's In Chroma is the website. I'm going to double check that real quick. But there's a colorblind test for it. They're In Chroma glasses is the name of it.
That's Enchroma, Enchroma.
I believe it's Enchroma.com.
Not In Chroma, because I thought you said
Enchroma. Yep, Enchroma.com. They have a colorblind test on there.
Yeah. So go and check that out and see if you're colorblind. You might be, and you might not even know it.
It's literally a big button on here.
Cool. I can't wait to take this. It's gonna be fun. We'll
Are you a colorblind expert? I am not.
We'll post the results.
Oh, apparently $20 off the glasses right now.
Yeah, you get some $20 off your Enchroma glasses if you go to this website.
Cool. No, thanks. I'll pay full price. But anyways, that's our episode. Here comes the promotional side of things. Follow us on Twitter at Level2GamersSTL. Follow us on Instagram at Level2GamersSTL. Follow us on Facebook at
Level 2 Gamers STL.
Yeah. Or if you're listening to us on iTunes or Google Play, go check us over at level2gamers.com. If you're watching us on video, if you see us right now, hi. Go check us out on iTunes and or Google Play if you want to listen to us in the car, to and from work or traveling.
I actually listen to the audio version of this podcast usually after I finish editing it. I listen to it before everyone else. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take advantage of my position of power. But
I watch it probably 4 or 5 times.
I do listen to it on the way into work, and I enjoy listening to it.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's because I'm a narcissist or if I just I like podcasts.
Or both.
And we're making them.
You're both. You're both.
Either way.
But
thanks a lot, guys. Let us know if you want to share anything with us. Thank you very much. Episode 12 over and out.
In the books.
On to 13.
Yes. Lucky 13.
Awesome.
So thanks for watching, guys.
And as always,
welcome to the second level. Bye.
It ain't no game.